Yo, welcome to Talk and Wrestling with the KingR. I am your host, the KingR, where more or less just talk about what's been going on in the wrestling world to some degree, whatever on my mind, so on and so forth. Just what's been going on in WWE, AEW, and whatever else in between. Shoot the breeze. I mean, WWE, AEW have a big weekend coming up. They got some big shows. You got Saturday night's main event. You got Battlegrounds for NXT. AEW, on the AEW side, they have Double or Nothing, so on and so forth. I mean, there's so much to talk about and so little time. And just got to nitpick on what I want to talk about. I mean, I know I could talk about people blaming Joey Janela for the death of Sabu, but I ain't going to do that because I have not dived much into that. I truly don't believe it's Joey's fault. And I mean, the match was well over almost a month ago, basically. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 weeks, 6 at most at this point. But I mean, should Sabu have had that match? Probably not, by the sound of it. But you know, it just sounds like Joey is just an attention whore. But that's just thrown out there. But like I said, I ain't going to talk much about that. But well, we will go start with AEW. And boy, oh boy, excuse me. They it just seems like they can't catch a break. I mean, where to begin? Like I said, they got Double or Nothing coming up, where I think at the moment there are 6 matches. We'll look at the card in a little bit, but both was it Beach Break editions of Dynamite and Collision had their technical difficulties to an extent. You know, Dynamite started off with a picture-in-picture issues, where it, like, I don't know, they were trying to cut to a commercial, but their typical picture-in-picture, and it's the same picture, so that lasted for a little bit, and then on Collision, it ended after, instead of the full 2 hours, it stopped after 90 minutes, and they started airing the Rock Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam movie, which is kind of funny. Yeah, it just so happened to be a Dwayne Johnson, a movie that Dwayne Johnson was in, but but let's get to some other action that took place on Collision and maybe some Dynamite. I mean, not going to go match by match. That's what some big moments. I mean, you had the main event, and with on Dynamite, Samoa Joe versus Jon Moxley inside a steel cage for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I mean, what Joe got the title shot because he's choked out Moxley's twice now at least in the last few weeks. One to win the Trios Championship. So even knowing that's still a thing, surprisingly, which are kind of pointless, senseless, but AEW loves their titles. So does WWE. They love having all these championships and no divisions for them. Just here, you get a belt, you get a belt, and you get a belt. All that fun jazz. I digress. But anyways, so the main event: Joe Moxley world title match You had the Death Riders on the outside. You had the Ops around ringside too. Back and forth action, and at some point there was chaos. What a surprise that took place around the ring. The Ops, the Death Riders start going at it around ringside, mass confusion, and all of a sudden here comes this hood figure out of nowhere, picks up the briefcase that has nothing in it but claims to have the world title. Excuse me. Slides it between the steel cage. Moxley picks it up, smacks Joe, and I'll say I forget if it was a pin cover or a choke, whatever. Moxley wins the match. Okay, cage raises. There's still chaos, and the hooded figure takes his hood off, and it's who was it? Gabe Kidd, and someone like me, who doesn't, you know. I say I'm an average fan. I know some names if I hear them, seen some matches, but Gabe Kidd, who I don't recognize. I shouldn't say I don't recognize the name. I barely heard the name. I think I've seen or heard him once or twice before, and I think I've heard that he was on an episode of Collision back in the day a year ago. But he was mainly wrestling in New Japan. He was the former NWA and New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Openweight Champion. Oh, excuse me. I should really hit mute probably when I cough, but that's a work in progress. And so he helps the Death Riders, Moxley. And then who shows up? Here comes the Young Bucks. They come. I think Kenny Omega shows up. They all get in the ring, start fighting. Young Bucks lower the cage, and then here comes Swerve. Swerve jumps over the cage, and they try to get out. Blah blah blah. Death Riders, Young Bucks run out of the way. In the ring, you got the Ops, Swerve, and Kenny Omega. And Swerve's like, we need some anarchy. Or I feel like some anarchy. And even before he said that, I should have known this. Should have known this was coming up. Because I definitely know what's going to happen in a month, mid-June, early July. I should have seen this coming. Because the last few Double or Nothings, they had this match. Since the pandemic, they had a similar match. But Swerve is like, anarchy in the arena. Oh, it's like, oh, that's right. Have to have their signature Double or Nothing match. And it's anarchy in the arena, just like last year, the year before. They had Stadium Stampede in 2020. Was that 2020 or 2021? No, it was 2020. Yeah, we were under lockdown, quote unquote. Then, to some extent, and so I should have known. But then I know that come mid-June or early July, we're going to have what? Blood and guts on Dynamite sooner rather than later between the same two teams, because whoever loses, it's we want one more chance because we got screwed out, blah blah blah, or it's going to be the winners. What, we want to finish this once and for all. Let's do blood and guts, and it's all chaos and confusion. So yeah, and it's more like, well, they had anarchy in the arena, last few Double or Nothings, so we got to keep that tradition going. It's like, no, you don't. There's nothing that says you need to, and the build for this has been so bad in my opinion, so bad. You just lump in groups of people together, and it's like we need this match instead of this pay per view needs it's they need the match for or they need the pay per. Oh, how is it worded? I'm trying to remember how it's worded, but it's along the lines of the this this match is for the, oh, I'm butchering it big time. It's somewhere along those lines. You have a match for a show instead of a show for a match. And I know I'm butchering it. And once I deep dive and look into it, it's like, oh, that's how it's worded. Because you have the show and or you have this match, and so you just try and put it together because you know it's that time of the year, so we need this. You know, it's similar to like Survivor Series War Games in WB or Survivor or Elimination Chamber pay per view or Money in the Bank pay per view or Hell in a Cell pay per view or PLE. Excuse me. I digress though, but it's like, oh, we have to have this match because it's on the card, and then you have this feud that just so happens to, well, we'll have that. There's a feud for the match instead of a match for the feud or something like that. You get what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying. Is that they want this match, so this is how they slap it together. Just like they're going to have Blood and Guts, which is War Games, and it's going to be the same two teams. They're just going to throw it together, and it's like I don't want to say you should just let it come naturally, because that's the issue with modern day wrestling. Everything says overexposure, you know. Overexposure, and I'm trying. It's similar to like Marvel right now, you know, after Endgame, once they wrapped up the Infinity Infinity Stones, Infinity Storyline saga, whatever you want to call it. Where'd they go now? Well, they have all these shows. They have then more movies came out. Now they're finally going to get to another Avengers movie, but it's just so like the main characters, Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, not Spider-Man, Thor. They're all more or less gone, you know. And now you get the secondary and thirdary characters for Marvel, but nothing against X-Men and Wolf and the Fantastic Four because they were under different properties. Now they can finally add them into the universe. But I digress. It's stuff like that, just overexposure. And if you don't have the right combination of wrestlers in these matches that calls for this type of match, it's just garbage. It's not, the flow is not there. And I mean, I'm sure most of these people are willing to work with each other. They know how to work with each other, and so on and so forth. But it's just not for me. I'll just say that. So that's going to be that won't be the main event at Double or Nothing. I'm pretty sure of that. You're probably going to get the Owen Hart the Owen Hart Foundation men's as the main event. So let's take a look at the cards so far for Double or Nothing. I mean, it's going to be in Arizona. It's Memorial Day weekend, May 25th. You have, like I said, you have we'll dive into that in just a little bit. You got Hangman Adam Page versus Will Ospreay for the men's Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament, where the winner gets a world title shot at All In. Then you have the women's Jamie Hayter, Mercedes Moné. Winner gets a women's world title shot at All In. That's not what I clicked on. That's what I clicked on. Look, Mercedes Moné is probably going to win the women's, and then move on to face Toni Storm, who will defend her title at Double or Nothing. We'll get to that match in a second. And on the flip side, it's gotta be Will Ospreay. It's gotta be. If Will Ospreay does not win that match, what's the point? Are you really going to have Hangman versus Jon Moxley again? Nah. And then are you really going to... But if you have Will Ospreay versus Moxley, yeah, maybe. But I think the time to put the title on Ospreay was, last year in London. But no, they didn't. So, then we got the Hurt Syndicate versus the Sons of Texas, which is a team of Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, who are also the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. And that was the other thing I forgot I wanted to cover real quick was MJF was finally accepted in the Hurt Syndicate, but yet he needs to sign a contract to join. And they had a little segment of his lawyer was brought in, and I forget his name. The semi-gimmick lawyer. Oh. And MVP was confused, but yet why are you having a contract signing for him to join the Hurt Syndicate anyways? It's kind of silly, but what do I know? And so you got that match. I'm pretty sure Hurt Syndicate's going to retain the titles. Whether or not MJF gets involved or not, I can see him getting involved and helping them win. So, then you got Timeless Toni Storm defending her title against Mina Shirakawa. Because I think Mina won a 4-way eliminator challenge on Dynamite, which had Toni Storm in again. And I don't even know who the other two wrestlers were, but just stupid. Let's have a 4-way, and if anyone pins Toni Storm, they get a title match. And why not just have a handicap match or a gauntlet match against Toni Storm, and whoever, if Toni does not win, the person that pins her gets a title match. That's just stupid booking. That just shows that they can't come up with good contenders for a title. Then you have a grudge match, FTR versus Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness. I mean, this feud is sad and pathetic, but at least it has something. Has some story behind it. Okay? The whole, FTR accepted Daniel Garcia, and then the whole Cope and that, and then FTR just got fed up, and then Daniel was like, "What are you guys doing?" And then it was Nigel that came to Garcia's aid, not Cope. But I wouldn't be surprised if Cope shows up, But now they have a manager too, in Stokely Hathaway, right? Yeah, Hathaway. So I don't know, I don't care. But this is the one that's most puzzling. The sixth and final match so far. I'm sure there will be 6 more added by the end of Collision Thursday night. Mark Briscoe versus Ricochet in a stretcher match. No, I'm pretty sure I missed something, but oh, that's if you actually pay attention. What called for this match? I know I know Ricochet had a match against Zach Allen, the one-legged wrestler, and beat him. Then Mark comes out to his aid because Ricochet kept beating up on Zach Allen. But what resort into a stretcher match? It's not like one of them or one of their friends was stretch. I don't think Zach Allen was stretchered out. I could be mistaken. But you need something to implement it. You're just having a stretcher match that you're trying to say you can incapacitate your opponent enough that you can wheel them out on a stretcher. I mean, back in 2003, uh, Brock Lesnar and the Big Show had a stretcher match. Why? Because Brock Lesnar was champion at the time. Big Show had a match against Rey Mysterio. He had to get stretched out, but then Big Show picks up Rey on the backboard and hits him across the ring post and gets stretched out, and then that's what initially led to a stretcher match between Brock Lesnar and the Big Show. So I really don't know how they got this. So, and I could care less. It's two sub mid card guys that are in a gimmick match to hopefully just the sickos happy. I mean, Mark is he should be higher up and so forth, but yeah, I don't know where to go from there. Um, and then you know, ne- before I stop talking about AEW, congratulations to Darby Allin. Okay, a week or so ago, he posted a video as he's climbing up Mount Everest and does a kickflip on a skateboard, breaks some supposed world record for highest elevated successful kickflip on his skateboard. But it was announced that he's reached the summit of Mount Everest, or the top, whatever. He successfully got to the top of Mount Everest. Now, hopefully, he can successfully climb down or descend the mountain, because I think that's where most of the accidents, incidents, and stuff happens. It's not the ascent; it's the descent. So wish congratulations to him, and best of luck of making it back down the mountain, and we'll see if when or if he'll return to AEW. You know. And before we move on to WWE, that's Kenny Omega had a nice comment this past week, which I find kind of interesting, kind of funny, and that's what this show is kind of about, is some of these you know outside the ring comments that people make. Let's not overanalyze, but let's just talk about, beat around the bush. Kenny Omega in an interview was saying how the WWE is going these days. In a few years, you're going to have Logan Paul and Mr. Beast main event WrestleMania. And I just I don't know what I think about it. I highly doubt it. WWE/TKO knows better than to have a, what you could say, a WrestleMania 11 main event ever again, or you have a celebrity, may it be athletic base, may it be internet base, social media base, whatever, main eventing their biggest show of the year. Would they be part of the show? Yes, I can see that. But like Logan Paul to some extent, he has a legit excuse, a legitimacy of actually main eventing a WrestleMania with his athletic ability, his mic skills, and so on and so forth. He knows what he's doing and so forth, and he's a little more flippity on the side, but I mean, Mr. Beast on the other hand, I don't know. I mean, there's other, but we've been seeing a lot lately. These celebrities getting involved. I mean, you had Bad Bunny a few years ago. He had a match against Damian Priest. Was it IO Speed, whatever his name is? He was in the Royal Rumble. And Travis Scott at No Way Out. But I mean, come on. No, they're not going to suit that low. But still, even if they're trained properly, they're not going to be main eventing. Okay. In a match, yes. Tag team match, better off. So on and so forth. Just no, it's not going to happen. And it's like, what's Kenny really saying? That the WWE does rather have celebrities? Is this going to turn into a celebrity deathmatch? I don't know. But I don't think he should be talking. I mean, Kenny Omega, he's one of these, they're ruining the sport. They're ruining my sport. When, old timers say, Kenny's ruining the sport. It's always funny. But now let's get into the WWE, okay? I'm more or less gonna focus on, we got Saturday night's main event coming up. You got NXT's Battlegrounds, and we're just going to mainly look at those. I mean, I'm looking forward to the tag team match between Sammy and CM Punk versus Breaker, and I cannot spell, Breaker and Rollins. Let's see if they have a list of matches so far, because I think there's at least 3 matches. Come on. Gosh. No, okay, we got 4 matches. Oh yeah, I think I did remember hearing that. And so you got okay, first CM Punk and Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker. I know there's a rumor going around, or I don't know, rumor where you think Sammy's going to turn on CM Punk and actually joins Rollins? Maybe. Who knows? We'll see. I think there's going to be some trickery in that match. I think Rollins and Breaker will win with some maybe some Sammy and CM Punk confusion. But we'll see. We know that we got Jey Uso versus Logan Paul for the world title. Logan wants to be world champion, but yet the Gunther gets the winner, so I don't see Logan winning. I see Jey retaining, maybe by disqualification, interference, something like that. As long as it doesn't turn to a triple threat match somewhere down the road, we'll be fine. We don't need triple threat matches. Triple threat matches are overdue. Unless elimination style. No, this is not for the WWE Championship as of now. But we got John Cena versus R-Truth, and Can you say long-term storytelling? This has been building since 2011, 14 years ago. Cena, R-Truth. I remember R-Truth turning heel on John Cena. Or well, he turned heel and then he goes after John Cena and then blames little Jimmy, this and that, and oh, now it's come full circle. R-Truth is the biggest John Cena fan. John Cena turns heel. I hope little Jimmy shows up at Saturday night's main event, but I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this match goes, because Truth has just been a comedy relief. I I can totally see it be Truth does not want to fight Cena, and Cena's he doesn't want to fight Truth either, but he's gonna slap him around, till Truth can't take no more, or say Cody Rhodes shows up, or someone else shows up. Who knows? Who knows? It's like when do we want to see Cody return? Do we want to see him return before Money in the Bank? Is he going to return at SummerSlam? SummerSlam is a 2-night event, and that's the other thing is we had qualifications for Money in the Bank ladder match. Well, I'll probably talk more about that next week when the field starts filling up more. And then we got Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre steel cage match. Hopefully this is the end of this feud. Hopefully. We can only hope. But at least they have reasons to be mad at each other, because of last year at WrestleMania. It was Drew McIntyre that beat Rollins for the world title. And then Priest cashed in, won it, and then it mainly went from CM Punk wasn't quite healed yet, but it basically went from McIntyre and Priest might have had a rematch, I forget, but it basically went to Punk and McIntyre feud, which was phenomenal last year. Not overdone, not overexposed, just right. I'm hoping, and is Jesse Ventura going to be there? We'll see. I don't know. But I digress. That Saturday and Sunday going head to head with Double or Nothing. You have NXT's Battleground. So far, we have 4 matches announced, and there's really only one I'm looking forward to, which is kind of funny. I mean, you have this grudge match between Tony D'Angelo versus Channing, Stacks, Lorenzo, with the family, their mafia theme group that he just finally decides to walk away, and now you have this implosion. You have the women's title on the line. Stephanie Vaquer versus Jordan Grace, and it's like, is Vaquer on the main roster now officially? So are we going to see Jordan Grace win the women's title? It's possible. I mean, who's the other one that came at the same time? Julia? She's already on the main roster on SmackDown, I think. Or is she on Raw? I forget. But I digress. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Grace wins title, and Stephanie goes to the main roster or stays on the main roster. But then you have the match I'm looking forward to: Joe Hendry versus Trick Williams for the TNA World Championship. First time ever the TNA World title is defended on NXT PLE. Woo. can you say exposure? Yeah, so what? Joe Henry lost to Randy Orton at WrestleMania. It was done just right, you know, and he's capitalizing on it. It's like, yeah, sure, I lost to Randy Orton, but I was on WrestleMania. I was at WrestleMania. I was on WrestleMania. You know, say his name and he'll appear. And to some extent, I can't see Joe Henry retaining his title cleanly. There's going to be some form of interference. Either someone's going to help Trick Williams and Trick wins that title, or it backfires and Joe Henry retains the title. Because, I mean, it will look bad if. It'll look a little bad if NXT Star wins TNA title on NXT brand show, but that's the one thing when you work with another promotion. You you bring them in. You can't have them win. They'll make your promotion look bad. But if you beat them, you make them look bad. But you gotta give and take, push and pull, this and that. So I would not be surprised if Trick Williams wins the belt, but I would not be surprised if Trick wins, but Henry retains. The only way I'd really be surprised if Joe Henry wins cleanly. Simple 1, 2, 3, no outside interference, nothing like that, no trickeries, and so forth. And then the main event, Obafemi defends his NXT Championship against Miles Bourne. And was it Miles Bourne? He won a Battle Royale match to get this title opportunity. They did a little piece on him. He was born. Ooh, excuse me. He is partially deaf, and he talked about it. He touched on it and so forth, and I think in one of his promos. But I will say he kind of looks like Fletcher from AEW, Kyle Fletcher. That's it. So it's who's doppelganger, but I digress. I don't see Miles Bourne winning. Obafemi, I see him dominating that match unless the no quarter catch crew interference on Miles Bourne's behalf and stuff like that. I can see William Regal's son. I forget what's his name at the moment. I can see him. He seems a little jealous for Miles Bourne, but we'll see. But that's how it always happens. Just like Finn and Damien, and now Finn and Dominic. So I really don't see Bourne winning, but I could be mistaken. Like I said, maybe a little trickery here and there, but it just depends on what they have in store for Obafemi. If they think Oba's ready for the main roster, maybe, but I don't think quite yet. Maybe next year. So I think Battlegrounds is going to be great. Double or nothing for AEW. We'll see. Like I said, they'll probably add 6 more matches. Saturday night's main event, with the 4 matches named so far, I think it's going to be decent. And that's always the other questions. How many matches is too many matches, or not enough? I mean, Backlash only had 5. Double or Nothing will probably have 12. So, remember, it's about quality, not quantity. Okay? So, but that'll do it for me this week. Hopefully I feel a little better, because we'll have a lot to talk about, briefly scan those 3 big shows, Saturday night's main event, Double or Nothing, and Battlegrounds and the reactions from those, and we'll see. It's gonna be a fun, great Memorial Day weekend for non-stop wrestling. So sit down and watch. Otherwise, thanks for listening. Until next time, adios, muchachos.